I found out I have an anxious attachment style. I spent the last 7 years of my life immersing myself in learning about things like attachment theory, emotional regulation, and neuroplasticity in order to heal. One of the most life-changing skills I have ever learned at all is how to manage my emotional state, how to recognize unhealthy patterns of relating, and how to break free from them. And having had a personal experience of going from anxious to secure, in this video I'm going to share with you the top 5 signs that helped me recognize that I was making progress towards becoming more secure. The first sign I noticed is that I started to have a calmer and a more regulated nervous system. This in particular came as a result of consistent meditation and mindfulness practice. Since January 2019, I have meditated every single day, haven't missed a day. Meditation, breathwork, and mindfulness helped because being anxious meant that I was living in a fight or flight mode for way too long. Living in this state for too long results in things like hypervigilance, racing thoughts, and a desperate need for reassurance from external. And I remember vividly that anxiety literally turned my body into a wreck, causing things like difficulty breathing, migraine, acid reflux, lower back pain, stomach pain. And I kid you not, all of this improved in a matter of weeks from consistent meditation and doing breathing exercises. And a regulated nervous system means that my body feels safe, anchored, and is capable of returning to a state of balance after stress. One important thing to mention here is that being secure does not mean that you will never ever be triggered again. Because a major difference between someone who is secure and someone who's anxious is that a secure individual is aware when triggered. And more importantly, he or she has the skills and the tools to bounce back from stress. So that one moment of trigger does not lead into living in a state of anxiety, a state of fear for days, weeks, or even months. Second sign that I notice is my increased ability of walking away from unhealthy relationships. In the past, behaviors like chasing, clinging, putting up with bad treatment, or not asking for what I needed was pretty much the standard for me. I used to do all of these things because I was afraid of abandonment and rejection. But healing made it easier for me to walk away from these toxic, unhealthy relationships. Because my decisions are no longer driven by insecurities, wounds of the past, or even fear of being alone. My decisions are now driven by what I know to be healthy for me. So I'm no longer looking for companionship at the expense of my inner peace and well-being. The third sign that I started noticing is having an internalized self-worth. I noticed that gradually my emotional center of gravity shifted from others to myself. This meant that I no longer depend on external reassurance as my primary source of security. Having an internalized self-worth also means that my sense of value remains steady, even if a partner is silent, is distant, is absent, or even no longer in my life. I stopped treating every interaction, every relationship as a reference to my right to exist. I can't tell you, it is so freeing to know that I will be okay no matter who chooses to leave me, because I will always know how to appreciate myself and I will always remember why I'm here. The fourth sign that helped me recognize that I was making progress towards becoming more secure is having a balanced dependence, or what's referred to as interdependence. This meant that I was making a shift from frantic, insecure clinging to a secure, grounded sense of self, especially if I was in a relationship. I became more capable of enjoying my own company as much as I enjoy the company of a partner, for example. This also meant that I was not afraid of being alone, and that I was now capable of using this time to connect with myself, pursue individual goals, and build my skill set. The fifth sign I noticed, and a very important skill that I learned, was practicing assertive communication. This helped me move from using protest behaviors, things like clinging, controlling, or punishing behavior, to advocating for myself proactively. This meant that I was developing a secure base in myself, which enabled me to communicate my needs directly and respectively without fearing that expressing them would lead to abandonment or rejection. The last thing that I want to mention here is that if you are on this journey, I want you to know that this is possible. It is possible to heal and to move from anxious to secure as long as you're willing to do the work. And if you are, there is a link in the description below for you to schedule a call with me. We can go through your exact situation. Even if you decide not to work with me, you're going to get so much value from this call. If you're interested, click on the link, schedule a call, and watch the next video coming up somewhere around here. Also, leave me a comment if you found this video helpful. Take care of yourself and also be kind to yourself.